And a very good morning to you, Grenada, and the rest of the world on this Tuesday morning here in the Spice Isle. It's not going to be a very perky morning. I got to be honest with you, as I always try to be, right off the bat. Kind of sad morning here this morning. You notice that I'm wearing black this morning. My dear friends, this being a Tuesday, those of you who've been joining us here on Gudday Grenada know that on Tuesday mornings we usually have a visit from our dear friend Ray Roberts. Ray is not going to be with us this morning, and the reason for that is that earlier today he lost his mom. She passed away this morning. So right off the bat, I'm going to ask you to join me in extending our condolences to Ray and his family on the passing of his mom. A bit earlier on this morning, when I got the word, it must have been about 8 o'clock or so, I posted it on the SWGG forum on WhatsApp. And the condolences have begun coming in, and a little later on we'll take a look at some of them, okay? But right now, somber though it may be, let's get down to today's rundown. We're going to begin by taking a look at what's happening around CARICOM. You know, CARICOM, there's been so much debate about the effectiveness of CARICOM. And sometimes I'm sure that some of you have wondered whether or not it really does exist. Well, you're going to find out this morning that there are a few things happening around CARICOM. And it's been packaged by the CARICOM Secretariat. And I'm going to share a piece with you this morning. So you're not going to find us taking a look at all the commerce and tebe that's been going on here in Grenada. But I think it's nice to have a bit of a perspective of what's happening elsewhere, including around our region. So we'll take a look at what's happening around CARICOM this morning. Then, of course, we do have the national report for you. And I kind of choked up this morning, but I had sent a note to Ray last night because I had received, I guess it's a list of the top 20 jokes about West Indies cricket. I don't know how many of you have seen this, but it's been making the rounds on WhatsApp, and I haven't yet seen it on Facebook, but if it isn't there, I'm sure it will be pretty soon. And every Tuesday morning I say to Ray, okay, what have you got up your sleeve this morning? And he usually tells me what he's got on his chest that he'd like to get off. And I said to him, could we talk a bit about these 20 jokes this morning? Well, I never got a response from him last night. And this morning, when I got a note from him saying, George, can't make it this morning. My mom has died. I understood. But to lighten things up a little bit, we're going to take a look at the 20 top jokes about West Indies cricket this morning. Okay? All right, so that essentially is our rundown this morning. That's what we're going to be doing in the absence of Ray sitting here with me in that chair. Empty chair this morning, but such is life. So, let's get down to brass tacks, my dear friends. The CARICOM Secretariat recently began distributing a series of videos to brief nationals of the Caribbean on the activities occurring within the region. It's a long overdue effort, but it has been warmly welcomed. They put out, it's about a 15-minute report every week. And here's the edition that came out last night.
Guyana's president assures CARICOM SG the country will abide with the CCJ's ruling.
CARICOM calls on all political stakeholders in Haiti to act responsibly.
And CARICOM signals interest in closer relations with Kazakhstan. Welcome to this week's edition of the CARICOM News Highlights. I am Tusankin English Francis.
And I am Michelle Nurse of the CARICOM Secretariat's Communications Unit. Welcome.
President David Granger of Guyana has assured the CARICOM Secretary General, Ambassador Erwin Larocque, that his administration will abide by the rulings of the Caribbean Court of Justice, the CCJ.
We respect the legal process and the decision of the Caribbean Court of Justice, as well as the Constitution of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. It is essential that we hold fair, free, and credible elections.
This assurance follows the CCJ's ruling that the December 21st no-confidence motion in the National Assembly against the government of Guyana was validly passed with 33 votes.
The court decided that the requirement for a majority of all the elected members of the National Assembly referred to a majority of the total number of votes or seats in the Assembly, irrespective of the number of members who actually vote. In determining that majority, the court was of the opinion that the half+1 rule was not applicable. The court held that since the Assembly comprised an odd number of persons, that is 65, when all the members of the Assembly are present and vote, all that is necessary is to determine whether the motion has garnered, quote, a majority of all the elected members, unquote. Such a majority in the court's view was clearly at least 33 votes.
The CCJ also rules that the President's appointment of retired Justice James Patterson to the post of Chairman of the Guyana Elections Commission was flawed.
In 1999, a Constitutional Reform Commission recommended, amongst other things, that, and I quote, the chairman of the Electoral Commission should be full-time and should be selected on a consensual process, unquote, as provided for in the 1995 Act. This recommendation was adopted by the National Assembly and incorporated into the Constitution, Amendment Act No. 2 of 2000, with minor changes in the language. The court noted that the evolution of Article 161(2) had been characterized by a significant and deliberate shift from exclusivity and unilateralism on the part of the President to inclusion and consensualism as between the President and the Leader of the Opposition. The court examined Article 161(2) and noted that the first paragraph addresses in very specific terms the issue of the eligibility of candidates for the position of Chairman of the Elections Commission. The Leader of the Opposition is required to submit to the President the names of 6 persons who satisfied the eligibility criteria, and the President is obliged to appoint one of the 6 nominees as the Chairman.
The President says he intends to invite Guyana's opposition leader, Barra Jabdeo, to a meeting to discuss the way forward.
The Secretary General of CARICOM, Ambassador Erwin Larocque, this week conveyed the community's interest in enhancing relations with the Republic of Kazakhstan as he congratulated the country's President, Kassym-Jomart Tokayev, on the occasion of his inauguration into office on the 12th of June. In a congratulatory message, the Secretary General extended sincere congratulations to Mr. Tokayev on his recent victory in the presidential elections in Kazakhstan. Noting that CARICOM-Kazakhstan relations have been building over the years, he took the opportunity to renew CARICOM's commitment to promoting dialogue and cooperation with Kazakhstan.
The Caribbean community has called on all political stakeholders in Haiti to act responsibly following deadly demonstrations calling for the resignation of President Jovenel Moïse. A statement issued by the CARICOM Secretariat says the community is deeply concerned about the present unsettled situation in Haiti. According to the statement, the resolution of the political differences in Haiti is best achieved in an atmosphere of calm and serenity. CARICOM calls for constitutional and legislative procedures, law and order, and due process in an environment that is conducive to open and civil discourse.
The impact of climate change on the Caribbean is an urgent and existential threat that requires focused, forceful, and fearless diplomacy, Minister Camilo Gonzalez of St. Vincent and the Grenadines says. On Monday, he delivered an address at the OECS Authority meeting in Antigua and Barbuda on behalf of Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dr. Ralph Gonzalez. Dr. Gonzalez is the outgoing chairman of the OECS. Climate action and diplomacy cannot be divorced from the foreign policy of the OECS, Minister Gonzalez says. He adds his voice to the recommendation that development partners should consider the region's vulnerability as opposed to per capita GDP in assessing eligibility of countries for concessional financing.
And still with the OECS, Prime Minister Gaston Brown says talks have begun with other potential participants with a view to broadening the participation in LIAT. He says LIAT is an essential service to the OECS and a regional good of irreplaceable significance.
Insofar as LIAT is concerned, we're having discussions with other potential participants. In fact, I believe that immediately after this press conference, we'll be speaking to our dear friend, the Premier of the BVI, and we have others who we're having discussions with. As you know, Dominica is already a shareholder. And what we're trying to do here is to broaden the participation in LIAT so that LIAT would function as a truly regional institution, not to be dominated by any one country. In fact, you know, we're in a situation now in which we have offered to take over, if not all, the significant majority of the debts of Barbados. And it's not a share grab on the part of Antigua and Barbuda. It's a situation in which Barbados indicated that they're in an IMF program and that they're unable to carry the debt at the Caribbean Development Bank. Now, if we allowed Barbados' proposal to proceed in which we sell the planes and pay down or pay off those debts, then it will place LIAT in an even more precarious position because LIAT would then have to lease 3 additional planes at a cost of about $500,000 a month, or alternatively, downsize, and there's no such thing as a shrinking successful institution.
Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt of Dominica says while consideration of LIAT's challenges are ongoing, there must also be an appreciation for its importance to the region.
In regards to LIAT, you know my position on this. I believe firmly that LIAT has a very important role to play in the region. Like every other institution, organization, it has its own challenges, but we cannot preoccupy ourselves only with challenges and not look at the benefit and the implications for our region if LIAT were to cease operations. Yes, we can maybe get from Antigua to the UK, but if you want to go to Barbados, are you going to go to the UK and then go to Barbados? You know, if you have to transact business. And in many of these countries, you have regional institutions resident in a particular country, and which citizens, ordinary average citizens, will need to travel between these islands to get to these regional institutions and international institutions. So the role that LIAT plays is very important. And Dominica will continue to be a shareholder, and we are not opposed at all. As a matter of fact, I would say in a positive, we are in support of Dominica playing an even bigger role in LIAT. LIAT is too important for us not to do whatever we have to do as governments and countries and institutions. I also believe too that the Caribbean Hotel Association, the people who are one of the major beneficiaries of LIAT, need to step up, and as a consortium, how much can you invest? I mean, as small as it is, it will go a long way in assisting Layout in its sustainability and its sustenance.
As the community continues to advance its transportation agenda, a team from the CARICOM Secretariat held discussions on Tuesday, the 18th of June, in Georgetown, Guyana, with the International Maritime Organization, the IMO. Mr. Colin Young is the IMO's Regional Maritime Advisor for the Caribbean, and he provides some insights into the organization and its relationship with CARICOM.
The International Maritime Organization develops standards for shipping from the design of the ship right through to at the end of its life, the scrapping of that vessel. In that way, there's a control or a check on anyone trying to, for commercial purposes, do better than someone else. These standards are embodied in essentially the three-pillar conventions. The Safety of Life at Sea Convention, which deals with safety and security, the Standards for Training, Certification and Watchkeeping, which deals with efficiency, and the MARPOL Convention, which deals with the prevention of pollution to the marine environment by ships. Because of this, the senior maritime administrators in the region, which meet a grouping that is funded through IMO, which meets every 2 years, has invited CARICOM to become more involved in the aspect of maritime regulations. They see this as very important, particularly in support of the focus in the region of late on the blue economy, whereby you need to ensure that the marine environment is kept in that pristine state in support of the many avenues of revenue that are derived from tourism, for example, that is essentially, in terms of cruise shipping, of which about 40% plus of that takes place within the region. The meeting with CARICOM today assisted the development of paving the way for the procedures or the process towards the formalization of this entity, of the formalization of the directors of maritime transport, meeting in the future so that they can treat with all maritime matters, regulatory, security, safety matters within the region.
And from all indications, persons in the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, the OECS, can anticipate the establishment of a new campus of the University of the West Indies. Chairman of the OECS Authority, Prime Minister Gaston Brong of Antigua and Barbuda, says the UWI Vice Chancellor Sir Hilary Beckles informed him that members of the UWI Council have approved Antigua and Barbuda as its fourth landed campus. Prime Minister Gaston Brong says he has asked the OECS Commission to examine the establishment of the campus there.
As indicated, this is intended to be an OECS campus. We have asked Dr. Jules, the Director General, to develop a paper for the OECS for further consideration, perhaps at our next meeting, so that we can look at the structure and to make sure that it is firmly established as a sub-regional institution. The last thing we want is a situation which it is considered to be exclusively an Antiguan and Barbudan campus. We recognize, though, that on the basis that it is domiciled in Antigua, that we have to carry the lion's share of the expenses, providing the the physical campus facilities and so on, and we are committed to do so. As you know, we have this new facility at Five Islands at a cost of $25 million US, and we're about to program another tranche from the Chinese to construct additional facilities totaling another $20 million US. Plus, we've been upgrading the other sub-campuses. So for us in Antigua, we know that we have to be the anchor and to spend the necessary monies in order to ensure that we have a successful campus.
Leaders of the OECS met earlier this week in Antigua and Barbuda, calling for greater unity and joint action on matters such as climate resilience and adaptation, as well as air transport.
And the Washington-based Institute for Caribbean Studies has inducted four-time Trinidad Olympic medal winner Atto Boldon into its Wall of Fame. Boldon holds the Trinidad and Tobago national record in the 50, 60, and 200 meters events with times of 5.64, 6.49, and 19.77 seconds respectively. Persons of Atto Boldon's generation may recall that he holds the Commonwealth Games record in the 100 meters.
It's Atto Boldon. It is all Atto Boldon. Automatic, they call him. Unofficially 9.92. If it's under the allowable, that will be the fastest time in the world this year.
Congratulations, Mr. Boldon.
You are now up to date with the major developments happening in the region. For more details on these and other stories,
visit the CARICOM website at www.caricom.org or the CARICOM news site at today.caricom.org. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for staying with us.
Nicely packaged little newscast there from the CARICOM Secretariat. They've been doing that for, I guess, a little over a month or so. And it's the first one I've actually run on this program. I think I'd like to continue doing that. We'll have to wait and see how consistent they are, because sometimes these things start and stop and start and stop. You never know what's going to happen. While you were watching that, we were joined by Arthur. Arthur is saying good morning. Kipling is sending his blessings, and John is, a couple of comments about the news report. John Bruno is actually asking, what happened to the proposed campus in Grenada? He's also saying here, all the leaders claim that LIAT is very important to travel in the region. But what are they doing to make the company more sustainable? The taxes these same leaders put on the airline is pushing it out of business. We've talked about that before, John. You keep hearing about all the other issues, but everybody's saying what a burden these taxes are on LIAT. But I'm not seeing any move whatsoever being made to alleviate some of those taxes. I guess that's what you call politics, my friend. Benedict Cador saying, what exactly does he mean by no shrinking successful businesses? I have known many companies that downsize to stabilize before rebuilding. Yeah, that's true. There are also some notes there of condolence from those of you online with us this morning. And I'm going to hold off on reading those, along with those that have come in on the, some of those that have come in on the WhatsApp SWGG forum. We're going to hold off on those for a wee bit and listen to today's or yesterday's edition of the National Report. And then, when we get to the segment where Ray Roberts would normally be sitting, we will deal with the loss of his mom.
This summer, make your dreams a reality with a Co-op Bank Summer Sizzle Loan. Get up to $20,000 and qualify for a chance to win a staycation at Silver Sands. Go on a vacation. Enjoy the carnival season. Have your dream wedding or make home improvements. Make this summer sizzle with everything you want it to be. Visit your nearest retail banking unit for more details. Special terms and conditions apply.
Welcome home.
Conveniently located in the Grandand Shopping Center, for over 40 years, Food Fair has provided quality service at affordable prices. Now, grocery shopping is made easier and more convenient from the Food Fair web store.
Hey, babe. Listen, I need you to go down to Food Fair to get some groceries.
All right, no problem. Right away.
Thanks, babe. What are you doing? You're supposed to be going Food Fair to get a grocery, man.
I am, but didn't you know you can order your groceries online from the Food Fair web store?
Are you serious?
Of course. All you have to do is just to log on to www.foodfair.gd with credit card in hand, and with an order of $100 or more, Food Fair Grenadans will deliver up to 3 miles away. And you don't even have to worry about your information, you know. Their safety measures are excellent.
So hold on. You just order online and Food Fair will deliver to you?
Yep,
Oh, baby, better hurry up and order, man.
I already did. They should be here any minute now.
Enjoy easy online shopping anytime from your home or office from the Food Fair web store. Food Fair, where you can fill your baskets without emptying your pockets.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try the sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
The region urged to speak collectively on the troubling subject of de-risking. Details to this story and more in the national report. With the details to the news for Monday, June 24th, I am Leslie Ann Johnson. Grenada's Minister for Tourism and Civil Aviation, Dr. Clarice Modeste Kerwin, says the region needs to continue speaking with a collective voice to stem the adverse effects of de-risking. Addressing the fourth sitting of the OECS Assembly in Antigua recently, Dr. Modeste Kerwin said de-risking poses a serious threat to the development of the region. The subject of de-risking is one that remains a major concern for Caribbean leaders, especially with reports by the World Bank that 89% of Caribbean jurisdictions have lost correspondent banking relationships in the last 5 years. De-risking in the region and the potential loss of correspondent banking relations was one of two motions brought before the House. It was moved by Minister Modeste Kerwin and supported by all.
We are all aware that in our small island developing states within this OECS space, that we depend heavily on tourism. The visitors who come to our shores, our customers, they pay with credit card. The business people who come to our shores, they pay with credit card. And therefore, if we cannot maintain that relationship with our banks, international banks, we are going to have a serious problem. Tourism provides significant employment to the small man on the street, as well as the higher level persons who are educated in management or higher level service within the industry. And therefore, this would impact significantly on each and every citizen within our individual island states, as well as collectively within the region.
Vincentian politician and diplomat Camilo Gonzalez, son of Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonzalez, said the loss of correspondent banking relations is the loss of financial viability and is in effect an embargo or economic blockade against a country. He said the Caribbean must recognize the situation for what it is, a clear and present danger that requires collective action by all members of the OECS and CARICOM in defense of their people's rights to exist financially.
You can have all the wealth that you want in country. If you are disconnected from global finance, you're on teeter on the brink of economic crisis. If you can't order medicine, if you can't order food, if you can't order furniture, what happens is that people have to get on planes with little black plastic bags of cash to do business. And our economies collapse if correspondent banking relationships collapse.
4 young people have won top places in the first ever World Skills Grenada competition, which was held recently at the T.A. Marisho Community College Hospitality Department. The competition showcased the technical competencies of participants between the ages of 17 and 25 in 4 skills areas. Organized by the Grenada National Training Agency and the Ministry of Education, the competition was held under the theme Showcasing Youth Skills for Employment. Details from Annette Moore.
The competition showcased the technical competencies of participants between the ages of 17 and 25 years old in 4 skill areas. The persons placing first in these areas were Jason St. Bernard in graphic design technology, Avian Primus in cooking, Indira Noel in fashion design technology, and Makita Francois in beauty therapy. The various participants received certificates of participation, trophies, medals, and an assortment of prizes from various sponsors including Duty Free Caribbean, La Conche Spa, Innovation Grenada, and the Riser Credit Union. At the closing ceremony, the participants in the area of beauty therapy and fashion design showcased their work in the form of a mini runway show.
Cause it's working, that work for the worship. You've been in your bag like Birkin. Never had it like this before me. You ain't no girl, better read up on me. You try and get, gotta re-up on me. Being stuck up, gon' leave you lonely for the night.
For this flying out, I choose life as my experience to blend in. Because normally somebody would choose an object or building or something. So I kind of did expect it to win. I did a panel mermaid dress. So I cut out different angles showcasing the roads of life, and a top stitch different threading. Showcasing that life is not just black and white, it's colored. You have to look at life from a different angle and things like that. I do want to have my own business and design my clothes and stuff to be sewn for people.
As industry professionals, we think that this initiative put on by the National Training Agency was a dynamic one.
I'm in the rose, you don't roll right. My chain shine brighter than a strobe light. I'm in the rose, you don't roll right. My chain shine brighter than a strobe light. I'm tryna cocoa, this don't concern ice. If I motorboat, she gon' motorbike.
I'm just super excited. I mean, I went through competitions but not like this, and I didn't know what I was expecting. I didn't know how it would have turned out, what I was getting myself into. All I know, I'm going in a competition and I'm going to give it my all, and look where I am today. I was self-taught, so I would like to take up a course in it in the near future or as soon as possible. In the future, I would like to become a general cosmetologist. So definitely, I would like to start my own business.
Avian Primus told us about her win in the cooking category.
I didn't quite expect it, but to me, probably what made my work stand out was the use of colors to attract the eater's eyes. Yeah, it was a bit challenging because I slightly have a problem with time, but based on how the time went and how I worked throughout it, I can say I did okay. When I get older, I intend to become a professional chef and someday own my own restaurant.
The graphic design students also displayed their creations, and we received feedback from the top competitor.
I was pretty much confident that I would have made first place, but at the same time I was still having doubts because the competitors there was a bit challenging. It was very informative. I mean, I learned a lot from the judges. They're very they're well engaged in what they're doing. They also coached us throughout the competition, so then for future reference, we know where to build on our weaknesses.
The Minister for Skills Development, Honorable Pamela Moses, was pleased with the outcome of the event.
I stand here again very proud of what has happened here over the last 2 days. We hope that if we keep working together, keep training you, keep enlightening and empowering you, keep having workshops for you as was recommended here today, that Grenada will definitely be the first island in the OECS to not only take part in World Skills Americas, but to aim for World Skills International, and of course come back with tremendous medals. We look forward to that.
For the National Report, I'm Annette Moore.
This is the National Report. More news after the break.
Every summer, the Spice Island of Grenada is transformed into the Caribbean's biggest party, Spice Man.
Coming down to Grenada.
Come experience the warmth of our people, trending theme fats, the revelry, the pageantry, and why we are the Jab Nation. The Kids Our Future shines on August 3rd in the Children's Carnival Frolic and the Junior Calypso Show. 7 beauties take center stage as the Queen of Carnival is crowned on majestic Thursday, August 8th. The prestigious Soca and Groovy Monarchs are crowned on Carnival Friday night, August 9th. Enjoy the pulsating rhythms of the Still Pan at the Junior and the Senior Panorama on Carnival Saturday, August 10th, and Real Steel, August 17th. The March Gras crowns the Calypso Monarch on Carnival Sunday, August 11th. 2 days of frolicking in the Caribbean sun kicks off on Monday morning, August 12th, with the biggest juve in the world, followed by pageant and Monday night mass. The creativity and splendor of our mass parades on the road Carnival Tuesday, August 13th. Join us in the Jab Nation of Grenada, August 8th to 12th for Spice Mass 2019. Many events, one carnival.
Continuing the news, CPEA transfers will be approved on a needs basis, so says Education Minister the Honorable Emmeline Pear. Parents are given the opportunity immediately after the results are released to complete a transfer form and submit to the Ministry for approval. During last Tuesday's post-cabinet briefing, Minister Pear said the issue of transfer is becoming a major concern each year. She advises parents not to become too hopeful that their requests will be approved as schools' accommodation amount is fixed.
I looked at the numbers last night of students assigned, and I got very concerned about the expectations when it comes to transfers, because already the numbers are extremely high. So if you're talking about transfers, you're talking about additional persons, and I'm talking about transfers to schools that are normally the schools that most persons would be requesting a transfer to. I don't think persons should raise their expectations at all based on the numbers that I'm seeing. It appears that many persons were able to get their first choice, and of course we can only accommodate a certain number of persons, and there are guidelines, there are policies.
Assistant Testing and Measurement Officer John L. Mitchell says this year the examinations unit had to find placement for 1,799 students, which was not an easy task. He highlighted that the first 300 students were placed based on performance and the others based on the scheme of zoning.
The policy tells us that out of the top 300, each of them, they're placed on merit. So anyone in the top 300, it doesn't matter which part of the island you're from, you get your first place. So that's how we operate. St. Joseph's Convent, they say to us 90. That's what they say to us, right? And they're right. But top places, 99. So already we have given them more than they can take. So people will come for transfers, but it is our hands are tied.
Mitchell implored upon parents to be patient with the requests for transfer, as the process will be done on a needs basis by a special committee.
A student may, based on the location of the school, the environment, there might be certain elements within the environment that may trigger sickness with medical report. These are things we have to look at. All right? So there are a number of things. You might be looking for access. Like, let's say we have someone who is immobile, who is in a wheelchair. There are some schools, like Anglican High School, for example, they can better accommodate such a child, because we may put a child in a particular school that does not have that, so we would have to transfer in such a case. And these are things we communicate with the principals, with the parents. So there are a number of things that are looked at.
And that's the National Report. I'm Leslie Ann Johnson.
Alrighty, folks, that was last night's edition of the National Report from the Government Information Service. Now, there were a couple of comments here while you were watching that. First of all, John Bruno says, while all these youth initiatives are good, are we seriously addressing the needs of the country? Are we identifying the areas which will make our nation more productive and independent? So says John. Well, Kipling responds by saying, John, those in power really don't care as long as their future is secured. Arthur Langine says, I'm surprised that nothing has been said about the Prime Minister. And by the way, there's a little footnote here from Pele Darbo. Oh boy. Pele has posted something here that's saying that Brian Lara was rushed to hospital in Mumbai after complaining of chest pains. Yeah. I also want to add a little footnote here. Every morning when we run the National Report, for the last little while, you've been hearing us being promoted as the Jab Nation. Concerns me. In addition to being named Pure Grenada, which, in my humble opinion, is not only deceptive, but it's also a misnomer. I see that we're now being promoted as the Jab Nation. Is it any wonder that we are in the mess that we are right now? We just don't seem to be able to be honest or truthful about anything. Folks, these are the images that we are presenting to the world out there. When we promote Grenada for Carnival, or Carnival and Grenada, to the world, to get people to come here, call ourselves the Jab Nation. We have a filthy little island on our hands. Call it Pure Grenada. Kind of hurts. All right. It's now, let's see here, 16 minutes away from the hour, and we're going to take a little break. Hold on a minute. Margaret says, good morning, guys. Sorry to be late. Had to meet a work deadline. Well, we missed you, girl. But you'll have to go on back and check out the program, okay? Go on back and check it out once it's up on Facebook shortly after 10 o'clock. So let's take a little break, and then we'll come back with the reaction to the passing of Ray Roberts' mom after this.
A natural disaster can change your life in minutes. Preparation is the best protection for your family and business. Prepare now. Create a disaster plan and make sure everyone knows what to do. Store water, non-perishable food, and medication. Remember basic emergency supplies such as batteries and flashlights. Trim overhanging trees. If trees near power lines are unsafe to trim, call GRENLEC at 237 for assistance or advice. Install surge protectors to safeguard your electrical devices against outages and intermittent surges. For more information, visit grenlec.com.
GRENLEC, energizing our Grenada.
Grenadian General Insurance Company, strength and stability. Grenadian General Insurance Company, tell your friends
information, call 440-2434.
Tell everybody.
My name is Kizzy Marisha. I've been a confectionery maker 16 years now. Well, as a child growing up, my grandmom always make fudge and always make any candies, cakes, as I remember. And I always have an interest in that, you know? It's like when I'm in the kitchen, I'm very happy. If you're making coconut fudge, you just grate the coconut, you squeeze the milk, and then you strain it, and then you add your sugar, and then you put it to boil. And then after, when you reach a certain stage, you get thick, so you got to beat it. Then after, when you beat it, you pour it out, and then wait for a few minutes to get hard, and then you slice it, you cut it, and then after you break it up, and then you package it. Yeah. Providing food fair is 16 years now. I remember when I just go dropping in the fudge, I was a bit younger too, and I met Miss Harris. So I went and I said, you know, I have a product here, some fudge. I was wondering if you all would be interested to take some fudge or candies from me. I showed her, she said, you look very nice, you know? So she said, I'll try it. So she told me to bring back some another day. So that's when I started, but Miss Harris took it from me, and then they would start, so, you know. I had a good relationship with them. Of course, I felt special, you know, at least somebody taking my thing local and, you know, other people can see it, because if I just have it, not much people come, a lot of people comes in, they're foreigners. So it was kind of special, you know, and especially when I go in there, all the workers is very nice to me. If I pass and they say, Kizzy, you bringing anything this week? The thing finished, you know, they always look out for me. That's what I like. The atmosphere is nice in there. My name is Kizzy Marisha. I work with Food Fair to provide you with sweet treats.
Alrighty, folks, it's now, boy, oh boy, oh boy, 12 minutes away from the hour. Earlier on this morning, I mentioned that we would hold off on reading the condolences extended by those of you on the forum this morning on the passing of Ray Roberts' mom. And so I'm going to get to those now, as well as some that have appeared on the SWGG forum on WhatsApp. Now, for those of you who joined us late, I mentioned this morning that Ray could not be with us today because his mom passed away early this morning. I spoke to him at about 8 o'clock this morning and found out that his mom passed away in hospital early this morning. He said that yes, she had been hospitalized for some time, and only yesterday he had visited her, and then this morning was greeted with the news. Very sad time for him, and Ray, I doubt whether you're watching at this time because you've got so much else on your plate, but as I read these condolences here, you'll see just how much you are loved and how much we miss you this morning. Benedict Cador is extending his condolences to you, and so is Bernard Gilbert, extending to you and the rest of your family, along with Anthea Rello. She's also saying the same. And so is John Bruno. Pele Darbo says condolences to Ray, Maureen, and the other members of the Roberts family. Okay, that's what has shown up on social media. Then on WhatsApp this morning, there are a few notes. Richard Simon says, I pray for God's peace and comfort for you, Ray. It was through her that our paths crossed many years ago at Fort Nelson. Please accept our condolences. Peter Bishop also extended his condolences to Ray. Margaret Francis, Ray, my thoughts and prayers are with you in this difficult moment. May you and your family find comfort from your cherished memories of the good times you shared. Weeping endures for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Yeah, where have I heard that before, Mags? We'll be in touch. Terry Forrester says, sorry to hear of your loss, Ray. May her memories comfort you in your time of grief. Keep strong. Sharon Roberts, may her soul rest in peace. My colleague, Beverly Sinclair, says, so sorry to hear of your loss, Ray. Accept my deepest condolences. Back here now to Facebook. There's a note here from Kipling Francis, says, here in America, some people refer to us as Jab Jab Country. No more Spice Island. That is sad. Oh boy. He also says, my deepest sympathy to Ray, my good friend, Paul. Please be of good cheer. Remember, God knows best. And to the rest of the family, stay strong. Hazel Ferguson says, good morning, everyone. Condolences to Ray and his entire family. May your mom, R.I.P. Thanks, Margaret. Margaret, a little while ago, when I was quoting something here from Margaret, I said, where did I hear that before? And Margaret reminded me, Marg, I didn't know that you knew the Bible that well to be able to quote me the actual verses. She says here, Psalm 30, verse 5. Wow, Mags, atta girl. What else do we have here? Hold on a sec, do a little scrolling. You know, I mentioned to you this morning too that I had planned on talking about the top 20 jokes about West Indies cricket. I had planned on talking about that with Ray this morning. However, it looks like we're fast approaching the end of this morning's edition. So I think we're going to hold off on those jokes, especially since we're in sort of a somber mood this morning. And probably try and get those in maybe tomorrow morning. Hey, that's a way to start the program tomorrow morning. Tomorrow we've got Sharon coming in with us. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to hold off on the top 20 cricket jokes until tomorrow morning, all right? Which means that we're just at about the end of today's edition. Margaret says here, I have my favorites, so I know where to find them. you and me both, girl. Yeah, you know, that's something I've never been able to do. I remember a lot of scriptural verses because I read the Bible pretty much, well, you know I do it every day because I read passages here from you. But don't you dare ever ask me to quote for you. There are people who can tell you Isaiah 46, verse 2, Romans 3, verse 9. I can't do that. I can't do that. I just don't. It's like me in history. Always the lousiest kid in school in history. But such is life. All right, let me take one final little break here, and we'll come back.
It's good to be early. It's good to be early. Pay your GRENADA bill on time.
With free island-wide delivery, Hubbard's Building Supplies and Lumber Departments continue to provide the best quality lumber, steel, tiles, plumbing materials, electrical, and general hardware supplies at competitive prices. We continually consult with builders, homeowners, and contractors to improve product range and services. Enjoy discounts where applicable, including the use of credit and debit cards. At Hubbard's Building Supplies, Grandance, and Lumber Department, Caranage, we offer quality service, affordable prices, giving you the convenient, reliable, free island-wide delivery. Call 440-2087 for all your home improvement and building solutions.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try their sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Alrighty, folks, time now for a parting word as we're about to pull the curtain down on today's edition of Gudday Grenada. Today's reading comes to you from the book of Hebrews, really short, Hebrews chapter 11, verse 6. And without faith, it is impossible to please God. Because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 6. Mags, I'm going to have to try and remember that one, try and memorize it. Okay? Alrighty, folks, that's going to do it. Got an interesting program coming your way on Sunday morning, next edition of Sundays with George Grant. Ain't going to tell you what it is, not going to tip you off right now. But remember, you missed a lot last Sunday when we had the Black Wizard in here. Boy, that turned out to be some scorcher of a session that we had. So, on that note, Georgie Porgy is going to hightail it out of here with God's blessings. Thanks for joining me. And I do hope that by His grace, we can get together again tomorrow morning at 9.